Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
The story of Prophet Sulaiman Alehe Salam in the Quran. The Quran is filled with the stories of great prophets who lived before us. Each of their lives carries lessons, wisdom, and guidance for humanity. Among them, one of the most remarkable stories is that of Prophet Sulaiman Alehe Salam, the son of Prophet Dawud Alehe Salam. His story is unique because Allah blessed him not only with prophethood and wisdom but also with a kingdom unlike any other in human history. He was granted control over men, jinn, animals, birds, and even the winds, all by the command of Allah. The Quran repeatedly reminds us that these were not powers gained by worldly means or personal strength, rather, they were a gift and responsibility from Allah, to be used with justice, gratitude, and humility. Prophet Sulaiman Alehe Salam is remembered as a wise king, a just judge, and a devout servant of Allah who never allowed his blessings to make him arrogant. In this first part, we will explore the early life of Prophet Sulaiman Alehe Salam, his inheritance of knowledge from his father, his famous dua for a unique kingdom, and his demonstrations of justice and wisdom that made him stand out among the prophets. The legacy of Prophet Dawud Alehe Salam. To understand the story of Prophet Sulaiman Alehe Salam, we must first look at his father, Prophet Dawud Alehe Salam. Allah had given Dawud Alehe Salam both prophethood and kingship. He was blessed with a beautiful voice and recited the Zabur, Psalms, in a way that even mountains and birds would echo his praises of Allah. He was a man of great strength, justice, and worship, remembered for defeating Goliath when he was still young. Prophet Dawud Alehe Salam raised his children in the light of prophethood, instilling in them the values of justice, worship, and humility. Among his sons, Sulaiman Alehe Salam stood out for his intelligence, sharp judgment, and sincerity. The Quran says, "Greater than, and we made Sulaiman to understand the case. And to each of them we gave judgment and knowledge." Surah Al-Anbiya 21:79. This verse refers to a specific event where both Dawud Alehe Salam and Sulaiman Alehe Salam gave judgments, but Allah praised Sulaiman for his deeper understanding. This shows us that even as a young man, Sulaiman Alehe Salam displayed wisdom beyond his years. The case of the field. One of the earliest examples of his wisdom is mentioned in the Quran. Two men came to Prophet Dawud Alehe Salam with a dispute. One man complained that the other's sheep had entered his vineyard at night and destroyed his crops. Prophet Dawud Alehe Salam judged that the owner of the sheep must hand them over to the owner of the vineyard as compensation. However, Prophet Sulaiman Alehe Salam, who was present, suggested a different solution. He proposed that the sheep should be temporarily given to the vineyard owner so he could benefit from their milk and wool, while the shepherd should work to restore the damaged vineyard. Once the vineyard was back to its original state, the sheep would be returned to their owner. This judgment was more balanced and just, ensuring fairness to both parties. Allah says in the Quran, "Greater than, and we made Sulaiman to understand the case, and to each we gave judgment and knowledge." Surah Al-Anbiya 21:79. This moment marked the beginning of Sulaiman's reputation as a wise and fair judge. The dua of Prophet Sulaiman Alehe Salam. After the death of his father, Prophet Sulaiman Alehe Salam inherited not only the kingdom but also prophethood. However, instead of relying on his power, he turned to Allah with humility and made a remarkable dua. "Greater than," he said, "My Lord, forgive me, and grant me a kingdom such as will not belong to anyone after me. Indeed, you are the bestower." Surah Sad 38:35. This dua shows two important qualities of Prophet Sulaiman Alehe Salam. 1. Humility. Before asking for anything, he sought forgiveness from Allah. Despite being a king and prophet, he acknowledged his dependence on Allah's mercy. 2. Vision. He asked for a kingdom that would be unique in history, not out of arrogance, but so that his power could become a sign for people, proving the greatness of Allah. Allah accepted his dua and granted him control over the wind, to carry him and his army across great distances in moments. The jinn, who worked for him in building palaces, temples, and monuments. The animals and birds, who could understand him and obey his commands. No human being in history was given such a kingdom, and none will ever have it again. His control over creatures. Prophet Sulaiman Alehe Salam had an army unlike any other, composed of men, jinn, and birds. The Quran says, greater than, and gathered for Sulaiman were his soldiers of the jinn, men, and birds, and they were marching in rows. Surah An-Naml 27:17. Imagine the sight. Human soldiers marching in perfect order, powerful jinn working under his command, and birds flying overhead in formation. Yet, with all this power, Sulaiman Alehe Salam never forgot that it was a gift from Allah. He remained humble and grateful, always remembering his dua and responsibilities. Wisdom and justice in leadership. Despite his immense power, Prophet Sulaiman Alehe Salam ruled with justice. He listened to the smallest creatures, cared for the rights of his people, and ensured fairness in all matters. One famous story in Islamic tradition tells of two women who came to him, each claiming to be the mother of a child. Prophet Sulaiman Alehe Salam proposed cutting the child in half so each could have a share. One woman remained silent, while the other cried out and begged him not to harm the child, instead giving him to the other woman. From this, Prophet Sulaiman Alehe Salam realized that the one who showed mercy was the real mother. This judgment reflected both his wisdom and his ability to understand human emotions. Lessons. From the early life of Prophet Sulaiman Alehe Salam, we learn several lessons. 1. Wisdom comes from Allah. Intelligence and judgment are gifts, not personal achievements. 2. Humility before blessings. Despite being powerful, Sulaiman Alehe Salam asked first for forgiveness. 3. Leadership requires justice. True rulers listen to everyone, whether rich or poor, strong or weak. 4. Power is a responsibility. Sulaiman Alehe Salam used his unique kingdom to spread justice and remind people of Allah's greatness. 5. Gratitude protects from arrogance. He constantly thanked Allah, never claiming his powers were his own doing. We explored the early life of Prophet Sulaiman Alehe Salam, his wisdom as a young judge, his dua for a unique kingdom, and the blessings Allah granted him over men, jinn, animals, and the wind. In this part, we will focus on one of the most famous events in his life mentioned in the Quran, his encounter with the Queen of Sheba Bilqis. This story highlights not only Sulaiman's Alehe Salam extraordinary powers but also his mission as a prophet, to call people towards the worship of Allah alone, away from idolatry. The Queen of Sheba and her people. The Quran tells us that Sulaiman Alehe Salam once inspected his army, which included birds. He noticed that the hudhud bird, hoopoe, was missing. He said, greater than, why do I not see the hoopoe, or is he among the absent? I will surely punish him with a severe punishment, or slaughter him unless he brings me a clear reason. Surah An-Naml 27:20-21. Soon after, the hudhud returned with important news. The bird said, greater than, I have come to you from Sheba with certain news. Indeed, I found there a woman ruling over them, and she has been given everything and she has a great throne. I found her and her people prostrating to the sun instead of Allah, and Satan has made their deeds pleasing to them. Surah An-Naml 27, 22-24. This queen was Bilqis, known as the Queen of Sheba. She was a powerful ruler with wealth, influence, and a magnificent throne. However, she and her people worshipped the sun instead of Allah. The letter of Prophet Sulaiman, Alehe Salam. Upon hearing this, Prophet Sulaiman, Alehe Salam, sent a letter through the Hudhud bird. The letter said, "Greater than, it is from Sulaiman, and it is, in the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Do not exalt yourselves above me, but come to me in submission to Allah." Surah An-Naml 27, 30-31. Notice how the letter begins, Bismillahir-Rahman-Ir-Rahim. This shows us that every matter should begin with the name of Allah. The Queen of Sheba received the letter and was surprised. She consulted her advisors. They said they had the strength to fight, but the decision was hers. Bilqis, being wise, preferred diplomacy over war. She decided to test Sulaiman, Alehe Salam, by sending him precious gifts. Sulaiman's response to the gifts. When the messengers of Bilqis arrived with expensive treasures, Prophet Sulaiman, Alehe Salam, rejected them. He said, "Greater than, do you provide me with wealth? What Allah has given me is better than what He has given you. Rather, it is you who rejoice in your gift." Surah An-Naml 27, 36. This showed that Prophet Sulaiman, Alehe Salam, was not interested in wealth or worldly power. His mission was to guide people to worship Allah alone. The throne of Bilqis. After rejecting the gifts, Prophet Sulaiman, Alehe Salam, planned to show the Queen of Sheba a sign of Allah's power. He asked his court, "Greater than, which of you will bring me her throne before they come to me in submission?" Surah An-Naml 27, 38. One powerful jinn offered to bring it before Sulaiman, Alehe Salam, rose from his seat. But a man with knowledge of the book, some scholars say an angel or a righteous servant of Allah, said he could bring it even faster, in the blink of an eye. The Quran says, "Greater than," so when he saw it placed firmly before him, he said, "This is by the favor of my Lord, to test me whether I will be grateful or ungrateful." Surah An-Naml 27, 40. Prophet Sulaiman, Alehe Salam, understood that this was a test. Instead of boasting, he immediately thanked Allah. Testing the queen. When Bilqis arrived, Prophet Sulaiman, Alehe Salam, asked her about her throne, which had been slightly altered. She recognized it and realized that Sulaiman's power was truly from Allah. Then she was invited into a palace with a floor made of glass. Thinking it was water, she lifted her dress to avoid getting wet. Sulaiman, Alehe Salam, explained that it was glass, not water. Seeing this, Bilqis said, "Greater than, my Lord, indeed I have wronged myself, and I submit with Sulaiman to Allah, Lord of the worlds." Surah An-Naml 27, 44. The Queen of Sheba accepted Islam, leaving behind sun worship, and submitted to Allah. Lessons. The story of Bilqis teaches us. 1. Leadership requires wisdom. She consulted her advisors and avoided rushing into war. 2. True wealth is from Allah. Sulaiman, Alehe Salam, showed that guidance is more valuable than gold. 3. Gratitude prevents arrogance. When he saw the throne, Sulaiman, Alehe Salam, thanked Allah. 4. Miracles are signs, not entertainment. They are meant to bring people closer to Allah. 5. Guidance is the greatest gift. Bilqis was a queen, but true success came when she submitted to Allah. We will look at the later life of Prophet Sulaiman, Alehe Salam, his control over the jinn, his great constructions, his death, and the timeless lessons that Allah mentions in the Quran. Sulaiman's kingdom and the jinn. Allah granted Sulaiman, Alehe Salam, a kingdom unlike any before or after. The Quran mentions, "Greater than, and we subjected to him the wind, blowing by his command gently wherever he directed. And the devils, jinn, every builder and diver, and others bound in chains. Surah Sad 38, 36-38. This means that the wind carried him and his armies across vast lands in a short time. The jinn worked under his command, building structures, diving into the seas to bring treasures, and performing difficult tasks. Those who disobeyed were chained. The Quran describes that the jinn built massive projects for Sulaiman Alehe Salam. Greater than, they made for him whatever he willed, palaces, statues, large basins like reservoirs, and cooking pots fixed in their places. Surah Saba 34, 13. Imagine the scale of these works. Palaces so grand that people from faraway lands came to see them. Massive cauldrons used to feed thousands. Reservoirs that stored water for his people. Yet despite such power, Sulaiman Alehe Salam remained humble. He constantly reminded his people, greater than, work, O family of Dawood, in gratitude. And few of my servants are truly grateful. Surah Saba 34, 13. The story of the ants. One of the most touching incidents in his life is mentioned in Surah An-Naml. When Sulaiman Alehe Salam marched with his army of men, jinn, and birds, they came across a valley of ants. One ant said, greater than, O ants, enter your dwellings so that Sulaiman and his armies do not crush you while they are unaware. Surah An-Naml 27, 18. Sulaiman Alehe Salam smiled at her words and prayed, greater than, my Lord, enable me to be grateful for your favor which you have bestowed upon me and upon my parents, and to do righteousness that you approve, and admit me by your mercy among your righteous servants. Surah An-Naml 27, 19. This shows us his humility. Even though he was a mighty king, he smiled at the speech of a tiny ant and turned to Allah in gratitude. The death of Prophet Sulaiman Alehe Salam. Perhaps the most unique part of Sulaiman's Alehe Salam story is his death. Allah says, greater than, so when we decreed death for him, nothing indicated to the jinn his death except a creature of the earth eating his staff. But when he fell, it became clear to the jinn that if they had known the unseen, they would not have remained in humiliating punishment. Surah Saba 34, 14. Here's what happened. Sulaiman Alehe Salam was standing, leaning on his staff, overseeing the work of the jinn. Allah caused his soul to be taken while he was still standing. The jinn continued working, thinking he was alive. Only when termites ate through his staff did his body fall. At that moment, the jinn realized they did not know the unseen. This story is a reminder that no one but Allah knows the unseen. Even the powerful jinn are ignorant of the future. Lessons from the life of Sulaiman Alehe Salam. 1. Wisdom comes from Allah. True knowledge is not age or experience but divine guidance. 2. Power is a test. Sulaiman Alehe Salam was given a kingdom unlike any other, yet he remained humble and thankful. 3. Miracles do not guarantee faith. The jinn witnessed his death and realized their ignorance. 4. Gratitude brings blessings. Sulaiman Alehe Salam always remembered Allah's favors. 5. Death is certain. Even the mightiest king had to return to Allah. The story of Prophet Sulaiman Alehe Salam is one of wisdom, power, and humility. Despite being given control over the forces of nature, animals, and jinn, he never forgot his duty
as a prophet, to guide his people to worship Allah alone. From the ants' valley to the Queen of Sheba, and from great palaces to his humble prayer, every part of his life teaches us to remain grateful and obedient to Allah.